I didn't know professional or nothing teach me to sew. I learned from my grandmother and my mother. It was just something that it was handed down through the family. And maybe not through the family, but just through the community.
Now we have the lining one color. When I quilted back there, the lining would be many colors. Just whatever you could put together to make a quilt.
It really makes you emotional when you start thinking about all the work that she put in this quilt. And I always remember that my mama gave me this.
I believe that quilts are documents that can be read, from which we can gain great knowledge. I think that black people made quilts basically for the same reasons that most people did, primarily for use. And perhaps black people made quilts for use longer than most people. I believe that most elderly quilt makers, African American ones, who have made quilts for a long time, are really surprised at the great interest in quilts.
If we see a pattern we like, we'll try to make it, and we'll help one another out.
When an individual is bringing quilts, such as that quilt there is hers. Well, see, she just piece whatever she wants and bring the batten and the lining and the thread, and we sit here and help her quilt.
We have, in the African American quilt community, a wide range today of quilt makers. Some still work in the traditional manner and do all of their work by hand.
But that's hard to do. You see, you gotta get these little prongs put in there right to make the shape of the leaf.
I feel good. And you can stand back and look at your work, and it makes you feel good to see what you've done. I like quilt myself.
Most of today's collections of African American quilts can be dated from, say, the 1970s to the present. The old State House Museum collection goes all the way back to turn of the century, late 1800s, and comes right up to the present. The greater portion of the quilts in this collection were made from 1900 to 1940. I am just amazed at the size of this collection, not only the size, but the scope, the age of these quilts from turn of the century right up to the present. That's unprecedented, I believe, in any collection of African American quilts in a museum. When I first saw the quilts, they were such wonderful quilts to see, and to think that they were all made in Arkansas. These were rural people, but they were creative. They made these quilts for use and not decorative purposes, but they are wonderful, beautiful quilts nevertheless. More than just as an historian of quilts, the Old State House Museum collection has a significant meaning to me. I was so surprised, not only at the beauty of the quilts, but these quilts touch me in a way, and I didn't really realize why. And then I realized a lot of these quilts look like my grandmother's quilts. I remember those quilts now.
There are just some things that, your kids and your grandkids need to know You know, that went on when people really didn't have the money to go and buy quilts that was already made now. You can do that now, but you couldn't do that. You couldn't afford it.
You know, they had to hang them up in the top of the house. You know, they had swinging quilts, not like this. That's the old-fashioned. Right. I see my mother just whoop the cotton, get it from the gin.
And then just get you some switch lac with a whole lot of prongs on it, and just whoop that cotton till you get it thin, and then pat it and stretch it out over it. You had some heavy quilts back then. Some of them weighed 50 pounds.
Once people realized that these quilts were made by hand in rural areas without any paraphernalia except scissors and needle, then these women have accomplished something that is very special.
I think everybody kind of feel about them like Clem and I do. I think, like I said, it relaxes you so. And so I think someone will always be doing them because this is a piece of our souls. It really is.